There's a lot of commentary that's going on right now about what the Cowboys are going to do about Dak Prescott, and that's clearly the most important decision that they have to make in this offseason. Franchise tag him, sign him to a long-term contract. We know that's their intent. Whether or not they can do it, that's another question. But another sub-story of the offseason is what the Cowboys are going to do with left tackle Tyron Smith. Now, a lot of people have many things to say when it comes to Tyron Smith. He's been in the league for so long that a lot of people feel like it's time for the Cowboys to move on from him based on his recent injury history. Yes, I get it. He hasn't played a full season since 2015. That's now going on. This is going to be year number 6 of that. For the majority of the past several seasons, he's missed 3 games each. He did that 4 times in a row. Last year, he missed 14 games, only playing in the 2. So a lot of people are like, it's time to move on from Tyron Smith. I'm going to dive into this in a more detailed article a little bit later in the offseason, but I just wanted to kind of get the talking points out there. Why is everybody in a rush? Tyron Smith doesn't make that much money. He signed a very big $100 million deal back in the day, first player to reach a $100 million contract while with the Cowboys. But currently, he's number 15 among left tackles as far as pay average salary in the league right now. 15 over the course of his contract. 25th amongst all offensive linemen. He's not expensive. So while I understand the whole idea about, not being able to rely on him, I think the Cowboys would be better served, I should say, of trying to find a solution that prevents him from having a major drop-off in the case that he misses future games. Now, if Tyron decides that he wants to retire, he wants to go play someplace else because he doesn't like the Cowboys medical staff, whatever the case may be there, that's a whole different story. But if we're assuming that he wants to return, I don't see any reason for the Cowboys to want to walk away from him. His base salary in 2021 is just $10.5 million a year. They've already shown the willingness to restructure a contract. They did it just last season to push cap space, to push cap hit beyond the length of his contract. So he already has dead money on a year where he doesn't have a contract to play. 2024, he has like $1.7 million in dead money. The Cowboys, he's not under contract for that year. The Cowboys could do something similar. They could restructure his base salary if they want to get some additional cap space, gain between $6 to $8 million, depending on how you stretch out the cap space over the course of the rest of the contract and possibly beyond that. So they have mechanisms that they could gain cap space with Tyron's contract, or they could just leave it as it is right now. Again, he has just 3 years remaining on his deal, and I don't see the rush to push him out the door when there are other options available. The Cowboys could draft a player that has the ability to play elsewhere on the line in the meantime if they wanted to spend a first-round pick, like if Sewell dropped to them or Rashawn Slater dropped to them, or one of these types of things. Darisaw, I think, is more of a tackle only, so while I love his potential as a long-term tackle, as being like a future franchise cornerstone tackle, I don't see him as being a player that they want to move up and down the line like they possibly would with Slater and with Sewell. But again, there are possibilities later on in the draft where the Cowboys could get somebody that could help them on the offensive line while still playing Tyron Smith as a starting left tackle. So I don't think it's as cut as dry as Tyron Smith is no longer capable of playing 16 games, so we have to move on from him. I don't get that sentiment. Tell me what you think on Twitter. You know what it is, at KD Drummond NFL. Salute. But based on what you saw through the rest of the season and the playoffs, play the percentages. Give me 80, 20, 100, 0, 50, 50, Tom Brady or Dak Prescott. For 1 year.
For 1 year.
1 year. 2021.
Oh, man. I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. Dak Prescott underwent the mandatory surgery to repair his compound fracture in week 5. And it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because when they went in to repair the compound fracture, they said, hey, by the way, all of these other minor things that we're seeing that you didn't know about because they didn't impact your play at all, but they occurred over time from random injuries. And, athletes, you're talking about rolled ankles and things of that nature. You get injuries that aren't necessarily season ending over the course of your sporting career. They don't necessarily cost you time, but as the body heals from these injuries, you get certain things like additional calcium deposits, maybe a ligament gets weakened and you may not know it just yet, but it makes it more prone to injury.